watch for every trend, outfit, and occasion. That's what the Swatch Watch was all about in the 80s. People went crazy over them. Swatch is short for second watch. The idea was to have a watch that was fashionable, yet cheap enough that you could buy several of them. This Swiss company's fast-paced television commercials and ads highlighted the watch's super colorful style. It felt like there were a million different varieties. The Swatch was a simple plastic analog watch. The first line of Swatch watches were introduced in 1983. It was in response to the quartz crisis. For a long time, the main watchmakers were in Europe, mainly Switzerland, where watchmakers focused on traditional mechanical watches that were usually pretty pricey. In the 70s and 80s, Swiss watchmakers were being challenged by Asian companies like Seiko and Casio in Japan. These companies started mass-producing inexpensive battery-powered quartz watches. Swiss watchmakers were losing a ton of business, and their economy nearly collapsed. The Swatch Watch was their attempt to get that business back and save the industry. It worked. Swatch started making analog watches that were inexpensive and pretty dang cool. You could get one for around $30 or $40. That was considered cheap for a name brand watch at the time, especially a Swiss watch, which was considered top of the line. The unique design sold like crazy. Swatch sales went from $3 million in 1984 to $105 million in 1985. Look at this creative watch. It looks like the numbers are bent back into the watch itself. It's designs like this and the bright colors that made Swatch so unique. Swatch would hire different designers to give people more variety. Some watches became very rare. Kiki Picasso, a French artist, designed a watch face that was very limited. Only about 120 were made. One of those sold in 1992 for $28,000. You can still buy a Swatch watch today. They even let you create your own designs on their website. However, smartwatches from companies like Apple and Samsung are what people are lining up for. Because of this, Swatch sales are slowly declining. That doesn't erase the fact that they were once very big and a good childhood memory for many people like me who grew up in the 80s and 90s. When my wife was young, she didn't follow a lot of the fancy trends of the day. In fact, she hates buying fancy things. Family has always been at the top of her list. But she had a Swatch watch. I couldn't believe it when she told me. I can't even prove it because she never showed it off. She just doesn't do that kind of stuff. So when someone like Katie buys a Swatch, you know it was a masterpiece. Hope you learned something interesting about Swatch from this video. If you did, please consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching.